Hey guys, so I got a new toy. Look at this guy. Do you recognize him? We had a larger version of him, and this is called the Mini Alphabet Punch Board, and I think this may become my favorite. We will see. Now, I'm in the middle of making a wreath for you guys. It is a paper pennant wreath, and I've decided I want to put across it the word Mary, and this is how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to see if this works. We'll kind of do a review and another project kind of thing. So I'm going to assume this is very much like the original punch board, except for the fact that they're smaller. So I'm going to go straight to the letters and just get started and see if I can do it just like the original. So here's the M, and also I want to show you what I'm going to try to mimic here. When I got this in, the packaging had this little banner on the back, which I think is so stinking cute. I thought that's what I want on my paper wreath that I'm making. So we're going to do that together. I think this will be really cute. So I'm going to try to mimic that look. So I'm going to need the letters M, E, R, R, and Y. So we're going to work on M. So let me get my cardstock out. So before I do anything, I want to cut my cardstock down. And just like the big board, we can use the board itself to cut our paper down for our letters. So I'm going to sit that out of the way, and I've got some scrap cardstock here, and I'm going to place this in. I'm going to pull my little blade out, by the way. That's the little blade. I'm going to place this guy into this little section. Oh, it is so little. It's so cute because it reminds me of the big one, but it's little. All right, and then I'm going to take the blade portion. Now I'm going to show you something about this blade. Look at the difference in this blade and the one we get on the bigger ones. That blade is serious. Can you see that guy? He's really poking out, so be super careful with that dude. He is really there. Now to cut this down, I'm going to put this little blade into the top section here, and I'm going to run across and cut the top of that little guy. So now that I've cut the top section, it tells me to pull my paper down to the 1-inch mark. There's a 1-inch line right here. So I'm going to pull my paper down to that 1-inch line, and then I'm going to take the blade and cut outside of this channel. So this is going to cut for me, there it is, the little shape I need to make a letter out of. Oh my goodness, look how tiny. It's so cute. So I'm going to need several of those. So I'm going to cut those real quick. I don't remember. I think I said 5. Yeah, I'm going to need 5. So let's just go in and cut all those down. Let's do another one. So I put the paper into the corner, put the blade into the channel, cut the top, okay? Then I want to move this down to the 1-inch mark, then place this blade into the side channel and cut, and that gets me another piece. And I'm just going to keep doing that till I have enough to make the letters on. I've got just about enough. I'm going to cut one more extra piece just in case I mess up. One thing I like about this is it's mindless. I'm not having to get out a cutting board and cut different sizes to fit things. I know just by using this little piece, all my pieces are supposed to work for the letters. So I've come to the M and I've noticed something. We have 2 options, option 1 and option 2. Option 1 is done making 2 what are basically ends and gluing them together. Option 1 is done by cutting a larger piece and getting the look of 1 piece. Well, I'm going to do this one since I've already cut my pieces for it. I'm just going to do it like this and show you how to assemble that M. All right, so the first thing we are to do is get our book where it will stay open for us, just like so. And then we take our first piece of paper and we put it into the little slot here. Now this is that little slot that cuts like a D shape. I'll show you. We press this down and punch. That's the first thing we do. So you see that shape that we get there. Then the second thing we're to do is to lift this little guy up and lay this in all the way to the corner and close it down. Now's when we use our blade. We're going to take the blade, and from that little punch we made, we're going to place our blade into this groove and slice down. And then we're going to take it and put it into the groove underneath that and slice down. And I'm going to put this back in here so it stays safe, and I will show you what we get. So now that piece, we cut that out and we have that little curve. So that works really well. Now we need to finish this guy off, and this is the easy part. We're going to come to this punch and put the pointed corner in and punch. That gets us a round corner. And then we'll put the second corner in and punch. But to be honest, I'm not going to do that, and I'll tell you why in a second. I kind of want the M to have a point on one side, so I'm going to leave that there. But if you were doing it just like the punch board says, you would round that off as well. I'm not going to. I'll show you why in a second to make it make more sense. All right, let's make another half of our M. So put it in here and punch. Then take it to the top. It's really easy once you've done it one time. Put that blade into the second channel from the top and then the third channel from the top. It's so tiny, y'all. It is so fun to play with. And there's our other piece. Now for this one, I'm going to punch both sides. I'll show you why. It'll make sense. I just wanted my M to have kind of a point on one side, because to me it looked more like an M that way. All right, let me move this out of the way and let's put this guy together. So I just brought over a piece of white cardstock so you could see this better. Remember, this was supposed to be rounded, but I chose not to. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to take some glue, and I'm going to glue these two pieces together to make our M. It's going to go together just like this. And I wanted that M to have that point. Now you may not love that. You might want it to be rounded on both sides. And of course you can do that, but that's how I wanted my M to look. So there's M. Now we need to make E, R, R, and Y. So now for E, we're going to start a little different way with the E. We're going to take it, and there is a mark here that says 2. We're going to line our black cardstock up next to that number 2, that line there, and then we're going to punch. So that gives us this. Now looking in my instruction book, it tells me at this point I need to flip this page over and do that same thing again. I think you can see where this is going, and if you've seen my review of the big one, and I'll link that below, it's really explained well for you there too. Now I take this little guy, and with the straight edges to this side, I put him into the little slot at the top, close this down, and now we're going to slice. We're going to slice all 3 of the channels to the left. So there's one channel, there's 2 channels, and then the 3rd channel is here. And I'm going to lift this guy up, and you'll see the beginnings of the E now. See that starting? Then we're going to flip him over and put him in, lay this down, and slice the bottom channel. And that gets us an E. Now I have one more thing I have to do here, it tells me to do, and that is to lay this guy in this way, all right? But only to the 1/4 inch mark. Let me show you this. There's a 1/4 inch line here, and I'm gonna lay him in, but take him only to that 1/4 inch mark, so not all the way to the stop, and get him as straight as I can and close this down. And now I'm going to slice just this center leg at the top slicer bar. I'm gonna call it a slicer bar. So look at there, there's an E. Super quick and easy. I think that's pretty neat. All right, so we got our E. I'm gonna do the rest of the letters and we will put it together. I'm working on the R, so I've already done most of the steps, but I wanna show you something else that I think is really neat. This punch is a double punch. It punches at the top and it punches at the bottom. At this step of the R, it tells me to lay my R into this stop here and then punch. And look what punch that does. It does that little notch in. All right, and then it tells me to lay my R over this way and round the top edge. So now I have the R. Isn't that cool? I think it works really well. That's pretty neat. All right, I'm gonna keep going. So here is the word Mary. How cute is this, right? I really like this little alphabet board. Now, I loved the bigger one too for what it did, but I felt like for me, because I had some cutting machines and things like that, that the larger letters I really could let my cutting machines do. I think if I were going to choose one, I would want this guy, because if I'm making a project where I could use a letter as small as this makes, I think I wouldn't be mass producing or trying to do big sayings or something like that. And this is just a fun one to have in your collection. Now you guys know I collect all these punch boards because I love them and I just want to own them. That's one of those things. There is a caution for you. This blade, I want to get the other one and show you the difference. That blade is so out there. Let me get the other one and compare it. So to show you size difference, here's the original and here's the mini. They're so cute. The mini is so cute. But let me show you this blade situation. So let me see if I can get this where you can see. Do you see that blade, how it protrudes out? And it's very unprotected. There's the mini. Now let me show you the other one. And it seems to be much more protected and not as much poking out. I just feel like I could stab myself. But I mean, I'm going to be careful, but you see how it is? And maybe mine's broken. Maybe mine's missing something. Now that I look at it, it might be, because this has this protector on it. But I say that because if you're doing this with kids, even though this is cute and precious and all that, if this guy rolls off and lands up and the kid hits it or something, it could be bad, because that's like a razor blade. Now, I love how it makes the letters. I think they're precious, actually. And there's one more thing it does, just like the big guy. Let me show you real quick. I showed you how it does with to make the letter R. You can also put the legs of the letters in and do that punch as well. I'm not going to, but you can and get the little banner punches on them. Maybe I should. Let's do it. Because what I'm putting this on is a paper banner wreath, and this might be cute. Let's just see. See, that's kind of cute. It does those little, let me do it like that. There you go. Let's put this guy in there. That had to go through too, so that was kind of thick. So you can get those little legs. Let me go through and punch them all that way. So there they are with all the little Banner fishtail pieces cut out of them. I think they're really cute. I really like this mini board, and I know you're going to ask me if I was only going to purchase one, which one would I purchase? I'd purchase the mini. Like I said, I love the big one and what it does, and I have a review of this one. I'll link it below. But I think I would get more use out of this little guy because of the type of crafting I do. If I did bulletin boards and classroom projects and things where I needed big letters for banners and things like that, this is the guy for that. But I'm a card maker or a wreath maker or home decor, and I think this guy I'll get to use a lot more. So there you go. That's my review. I think it's super cute. Now I want to ask you a question. If you would like me to carry this in my store, I can. They are not really inexpensive. They're about, I think, about $25. We'll be glad to get these in once they're available. At this point, I haven't been able to get them in the store, but I will. If you want me to, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, you can look for these at Michael's and Hobby Lobbies and online. You can use coupons for them. They're super fun to have, and I really like this one. Now, if you want to see this guy finished off, I have used him on a wreath in a video previous to this one. I'll link that video below too, and you can see how this guy came out. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.